He's Grant Ramey. I'm Rob Lewis. This is the Exterior Home Solutions Fast Break on Volquest.com. And Grant, man, it looked ugly for the first 20 minutes. 26-25 at halftime. And then, Tennessee hit the turbo button.
20, what was it, 26 points in the first 8 minutes?
7:30.
15-1 run to start the second half. 7-0 really quick to start the second half. And Georgia takes the timeout, and that didn't help anything. It got out, I think, 26-4.
26 to, well, I had 26-6, but you're probably right.
20,
I bet it was definitive.
it was a night and day difference. I mean, Zakai hits those 3 threes in a minute 10, something like that.
They had 3 threes in the first half. Zakai hit 3 threes in a minute 10 right here.
Jemai scores to start the second half. Jemai hits a corner 3, scores 11 points on 5-5 shooting. Who would have thought that going into the game? And they do it. They win by 18 against a pretty good Georgia team.
And Chaslanier scores
with Chaslanier
5 points.
5 points on 2 for 16 shooting. I mean, that speaks pretty well to your team.
Yep. And the defense was there both halves. I give Tennessee credit for that. Yes. Even when they could not throw it in the ocean. In fact, I think Georgia shot 37% almost exactly both halves. So that never changed. And so give them credit for that. But and I get, fans are going to grumble. You're going to say, oh, the second half was great. But, the first half, you can't forget about it. But, not a lot of college basketball teams are stringing 2 great halves together. I get it. You want a little more consistency than that. But, I'll lean glass half full. Scoring 49 points on that Georgia team in 20 minutes of basketball.
Right.
Georgia's been pretty good.
Right. And coming off what happened in Gainesville and struggling offensively for a lot of that Texas game and finding a way to win a game on the road and coming here and not playing any better for the first 20 minutes at home. Where you expect to shoot it well because this is your home gym.
Yep. And
they did not shoot it well. And it wasn't just Chaz. It was Zakai didn't shoot it well in the first half. Igor and nobody besides Cade Phillips, who had 4 dunks, layups, whatever it was in the first half. To respond the way they did in the second half, maybe it kind of shakes them loose a little bit and kind of wakes them up offensively, and we'll see where it goes from there.
I don't want to act like Georgia's a world beater, but they can't. And they're a different team on the road, as most teams
everyone.
As most teams are. But they came in hot. Kentucky beat Oklahoma at home. Clearly, along with Ole Miss, a surprise team in the league. And I think they were looking at this game as, if we, can prove ourselves game.
Right.
People are, we're a surprise team. Now this makes us legitimate. And that first half, man, they looked like it. They were after Tennessee. They weren't intimidated by the crowd or anything. Man, Tennessee took their best shot and then just boom. I was impressed by the way that Tennessee just didn't let anything that happened in the first half affect them. And it was over within 5 minutes. You didn't know if it was going to be 10, 15 points or whatever, but you knew Georgia was not going to win 5 minutes in the second half.
That's how quickly it can flip when you combine that defense with shots that are actually going down. And Tennessee's not going to score 26 points in 7 minutes and 30 whatever seconds very often. But when you combine those things, and I think Georgia's a pretty good basketball.
I think they're solid.
They're ranked for the first time in like 14 years, something like that.
They're not going to win many games like this
on the road. But it's a tough test at home, and you better hold serve at home, as we saw Tuesday night.
Yep. And some things to feel. You got to feel good about Jemai, and you got to feel good for Jemai.
Yes.
As a basketball player, I don't care if you're known as a defensive specialist. When somebody slacks off you 5-8 feet,
right,
and that hurts your pride. Felt 5 for 5 tonight. Scored the first bucket of both halves, and pretty clearly, I don't think coach is telling him to go out and take 15 shots tonight, but hey man, be aggressive. Don't
I think he was 3 for 6 at Texas.
Yep.
Scored on all 3 layups. That's what you want from him. If they're going to play off of him, he's going to have angles to the rim. He's going to be able to set his teammates up. He's going to be able to do stuff. And that's what Tennessee coaches were talking about the last couple of days. Like, stay aggressive. Keep trying to. You can't just give in to whatever the defense is. The defense doesn't think you're a scorer. You can't just admit you're not a scorer and play 4-on-5 on that end. So he stayed aggressive, and he's affected the last couple of games, even if his numbers aren't huge. Good numbers tonight and trending in the right direction.
Yeah, I have to give a shout out to Zakai. The steal became Tennessee's steals leader tonight. To no one's surprise, but one more accolade for him. Probably not going to be his last one, but I think kind of neat. He took it from Santi, which I think when you can do something like that to not just a teammate, but a really close friend, but also a guy you compete with. That was pretty special.
And it's not exactly right before the deadline either. He's got 20 games left to play. He's going to add to that.
There's going to be a buffer,
and it's very fitting that it was a steal
right into an assist
in the backcourt into a Jordan Gainey layup. Part of that, whatever the run was to start the second half, which included Zakai hitting those 3 threes. It was very fitting of Zakai in that moment to get the crowd into it, to change the game. and to set a record while he did it.
So 18-point win. It didn't feel that way for the first 20 minutes at all. A little bit for fans to grumble about it. Man, no joke in this league. I mean, you saw it last night. I mean, Tennessee it might have struggled tonight with Georgia, but you saw Florida and Alabama at home both go down. I mean, so you cannot rest in this league. I mean, so don't look any.
I mean, it's a Georgia team that beat Kentucky by 13, 15 points at home last week. Beat Oklahoma. I don't know how great Oklahoma is, but those are two tough basketball teams with good records.
This is a. I think Georgia's an NCAA tournament team today.
Right, I agree with that.
If they might not be in 2 months, but they start today, and Mike White's done a nice job there. So anyway, I congratulate Tennessee. I think that was a big deal what we saw from the second half. You don't want to have to flip the switch from that all the time, but
when you're going back on the road Saturday at a tough place to play like Vanderbilt, a tough gym to play in, it helps you.
I would rather have finished that way than started that way.
100%
tonight, for sure. He's Grant Ramey. I'm Rob Lewis. This has been the Exterior Home Solutions Fast Break.